Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive breakdown of one of the most shocking moments in morning television history, where Hollywood icon Samuel L. Jackson found himself in a fiery confrontation with Good Morning America host Michael Strahan, leading to an unprecedented ejection from the set. It all started on a seemingly ordinary Tuesday morning broadcast, with the studio buzzing in anticipation as Jackson arrived to promote his latest blockbuster film, a high-octane action thriller that promised to shatter box office records. Dressed in his signature sharp suit and exuding that unmistakable charisma, Jackson settled into the plush couch opposite Strahan, who was beaming with his trademark enthusiasm, ready to dive into what was billed as a light-hearted chat about Jackson's illustrious career spanning decades from Pulp Fiction to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But as the cameras rolled and the live audience watched with bated breath, the conversation took an unexpected turn when Strahan innocently probed into Jackson's views on the current state of Hollywood, touching on diversity, streaming wars, and the impact of social media on celebrity culture. Jackson, known for his no-nonsense attitude and sharp tongue, responded with his typical candor, but Strahan's follow-up question about a recent controversy involving a co-star seemed to strike a nerve. The tension began to build subtly at first, with Jackson's responses growing shorter and more pointed, his famous furrowed brow deepening as he challenged Strahan's phrasing, accusing the host of sensationalizing issues for ratings. The studio lights seemed to grow hotter as the exchange escalated, with Strahan trying to steer back to safer waters by complimenting Jackson's philanthropy work, but the actor wasn't having it, launching into a passionate rant about media ethics and how morning shows like GMA often prioritize drama over substance. Viewers at home could feel the awkwardness through their screens as co-hosts Robin Roberts and George Stephanopoulos exchanged uneasy glances, attempting to interject with jokes to lighten the mood, but Jackson's voice rose, punctuated by his iconic profanity-laced delivery that he's famous for in films, though toned down for network TV. Strahan, a former NFL star turned broadcaster, held his ground, defending his line of questioning as standard journalistic practice, but Jackson fired back, questioning Strahan's own transition from sports to entertainment and whether he truly understood the pressures faced by actors of color in the industry. The clash reached a boiling point when Jackson stood up abruptly, pointing a finger at Strahan and declaring that he wouldn't be ambushed on live TV. His words echoing through the silent studio as producers scrambled behind the scenes. Security personnel, usually invisible on set, began to move in cautiously, while the control room buzzed with frantic decisions on whether to cut to commercial. This wasn't just a minor disagreement, it was a full-blown meltdown that exposed the raw underbelly of celebrity interviews, where egos collide and unscripted moments turn viral. As the argument intensified, Jackson's agent could be seen rushing from the green room, phone in hand, trying to de-escalate, but it was too late. The damage was done, and the world was about to witness Samuel L. Jackson being escorted off the Good Morning America set in a move that would dominate headlines for weeks. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the backstory, the immediate reactions, and what this means for both stars' careers in the paragraphs to come, because this story is far from over, packed with insider details and expert analysis that you won't find anywhere else. Rewinding the clock to understand how this heated clash unfolded requires examining the lead-up to Samuel L. Jackson's appearances on Good Morning America, a show that prides itself on feel-good segments mixed with hard-hitting news, but sometimes ventures into celebrity gossip territory that can rub guests the wrong way. Jackson, at 76 years old and still commanding top billing in major franchises, had been on a promotional tour that included stops at late-night shows and podcasts, where his interviews were typically fun and engaging, filled with anecdotes about working with directors like Quentin Tarantino and his love for golf. However, sources close to the production revealed that tensions were simmering even before the cameras started rolling, with Jackson's team expressing concerns about the interview's direction, particularly regarding sensitive topics like his outspoken political views and past feuds in Hollywood. Michael Strahan, the affable ex-footballer who's become a staple on GMA since joining in 2016, is known for his probing yet respectful style, but on this day, his questions veered into what Jackson perceived as personal territory. perhaps influenced by recent tabloid stories about the actor's family life or his criticisms of industry practices. As the segment began, the initial banter was cordial as Strahan complimented Jackson on his enduring energy, and Jackson quipped about Strahan's post-NFL glow-up, drawing laughs from the audience. But the pivot came swiftly when Strahan referenced a viral social media clip of Jackson ranting about cancel culture at a film festival, asking if he regretted any of his statements. Jackson's response was measured at first, explaining his stance on free speech and authenticity. But Strahan pressed on, suggesting that such outbursts could alienate fans, which ignited the spark. The actor leaned forward, his voice dropping to that gravelly intensity fans adore in roles like Nick Fury, and countered by accusing Strahan of being part of the problem, a media figure who amplifies division for viewership spikes. The back and forth grew more animated, with Strahan defending the role of journalists and holding public figures accountable, while Jackson invoked historical context, drawing parallels to how black celebrities have been scrutinized differently throughout history. Co-hosts tried to mediate, with Roberts suggesting a commercial break, but Jackson waved it off, escalating by questioning Strahan's credentials beyond sports commentary. The studio audience gasped as expletives slipped through with the bleep for broadcaster, and Jackson's frustration peaked when he slammed his hand on the table, declaring the interview a setup. Behind the scenes, GMA executives were in panic mode, weighing the live broadcast's integrity against potential lawsuits or PR nightmares. Security intervened gently at first, but when Jackson refused to sit back down and continued his tirade, they had no choice but to guide him off set, an action captured by audience cell phones that immediately flooded social media. This moment not only halted the show temporarily but also sparked debates about guest treatment on talk shows, with some praising Jackson for standing his ground and others criticizing him for unprofessionalism. In the aftermath, Strahan addressed the incident on air after a hurried commercial, expressing regret while maintaining composure, a testament to his broadcasting prowess. As we continue this script, we'll explore the social media frenzy, celebrity reactions, and the potential long-term fallout for everyone involved in this unforgettable TV debacle. The immediate fallout from Samuel L. Jackson's dramatic exit from Good Morning America sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry and beyond, turning what was meant to be a routine promotional spot into a cultural talking point that dominated trending topics on every platform imaginable. As Jackson was led away by security, the live feed cut to an awkward silence filled by a hastily played promo reel, leaving viewers stunned and scrambling to their phones to share clips and memes of the confrontation. Social media erupted instantaneously, with hashtags like #JacksonVS.Strahan and #Meltdown trending worldwide within minutes, amassing millions of views as users dissected every word, gesture, and facial expression from the clash. Supporters of Jackson flooded timelines with praise for his authenticity, arguing that he was right to call out what they saw as biased questioning, while Strahan's fans defended the host, pointing out his history of fair interviews and suggesting Jackson overreacted to standard fare. Celebrities weighed in quickly as Dwayne Johnson tweeted solidarity with Strahan, calling him a class act, while Spike Lee posted a cryptic message supporting Jackson's unfiltered style, hinting at deeper issues in media representation. News outlets picked up the story like wildfire, with TMZ leading the charge by obtaining exclusive behind-the-scenes footage showing Jackson in the hallway post-ejection, still fuming as his publicist tried to calm him down. ABC, the network behind GMA, issued a statement shortly after, apologizing for any discomfort caused and emphasizing their commitment to respectful dialogues, though insiders whispered that higher-ups were furious at the disruption, potentially costing ad revenue from the interrupted segment. Jackson himself remained silent initially, but his representatives released a brief comment later that day, framing the incident as a misunderstanding blown out of proportion, while subtly criticizing the show's preparation. Strahan, ever the professional, resumed the broadcast with grace, joking lightly about heated debates being part of live TV, which earned him applause from the audience and boosted his image as unflappable. Analysts speculated on the career implications. For Jackson, this could enhance his rebel persona, attracting edgier roles, but might deter family-friendly endorsements for Strahan. It solidified his role as a tough interviewer, possibly leading to more high-profile gigs. The video of the clash went mega viral, racking up over 50 million views on YouTube alone within hours, spawning parodies on Saturday Night Live sketches and late-night monologues. Public opinion polls conducted by entertainment sites showed a split, with 55% siding with Jackson's passion and 45% backing Strahan's poise, highlighting generational and cultural divides. As the dust settled, questions arose about protocols for handling unruly guests on live shows, prompting industry panels and discussions at events like the Television Critics Association meetings. This incident also spotlighted broader themes, such as the intersection of sports, entertainment, and journalism, where figures like Strahan bridge worlds but face scrutiny from purists. Moving forward in our narrative, we'll uncover exclusive details from eyewitnesses, analyze body language experts' takes, and explore how this event compares to past TV blow-ups, ensuring you get the full, unfiltered story behind the headlines that captivated the nation. Diving deeper into the anatomy of the clash between Samuel L. Jackson and Michael Strahan reveals layers of unspoken tensions that had been building in the entertainment landscape, making this Good Morning America incident a microcosm of larger societal debates. Eyewitness accounts from studio audience members painted a vivid picture of the atmosphere shifting from excitement to discomfort in mere seconds, with one attendee recalling how Jackson's eyes narrowed intensely during Strahan's persistent questioning, a telltale sign of his mounting irritation drawn straight from his on-screen personas. Body language experts, consulted by outlets like Entertainment Tonight, broke down the footage frame by frame. Strahan's open posture contrasted sharply with Jackson's crossed arms and forward lean, signaling defensiveness and aggression respectively, culminating in the actor's sudden stand that forced the camera operators to adjust frantically. Production insiders leaked that the segment was originally scripted for 10 minutes but ballooned due to the unscripted drama, with producers signaling through earpieces for co-hosts to wrap it up, only for their efforts to be drowned out by the escalating voices. Comparisons to historical TV meltdowns flooded discussions. Think Kanye West's infamous interruptions or Charlie Sheen's rants, but this one stood out for its racial undertones, as Jackson alluded to systemic biases in media during his outburst, a point echoed by civil rights commentators who saw it as a stand against stereotypical portrayals. Strahan's background as a Hall of Fame defensive end added irony, with sports pundits noting how he tackled the situation metaphorically, maintaining calm under pressure like in his playing days. The network's damage control was swift. ABC executives held emergency meetings, reviewing footage to ensure no breaches of FCC regulations from Jackson's near profanities, while PR teams worked overtime to spin the narrative positively. Jackson's camp, meanwhile, leveraged the buzz for his film's promotion, with trailers seeing a spike in views as curious fans sought context. Legal experts weighed in on potential ramifications, suggesting no lawsuits were likely since no physical altercation occurred, but reputational hits could linger. Fan reactions varied globally. In Europe, it was seen as quintessentially American drama, while in Asia, translations amplified the cultural clash aspect. Podcasts dedicated episodes to deconstructing the exchange, with psychologists attributing Jackson's reaction to interview fatigue from his grueling schedule, and sociologists linking it to broader frustrations among veteran actors in a TikTok-dominated era. Strahan addressed the elephant in the room on his own podcast later, expressing no hard feelings and even inviting Jackson back, a move praised for its maturity. This graciousness contrasted with Jackson's social media silence, broken only by a subtle post of a meme about speaking truth to power, which garnered millions of likes. The incident also boosted GMA's ratings temporarily, proving the old adage that controversy sells, but at what cost to journalistic integrity? As we progress, we'll examine the ripple effects on Hollywood interviews, how agents now negotiate stricter question guidelines, and personal anecdotes from those who know both men, painting a fuller portrait of two titans whose paths crossed in explosive fashion on that fateful morning. Exploring the personal backstories of Samuel L. Jackson and Michael Strahan adds profound context to their Good Morning America confrontation, humanizing what could otherwise be dismissed as mere celebrity drama. Jackson, born in Washington, D.C., in 1948, rose from humble beginnings marked by segregation and personal struggles, including a stutter he overcame through acting, to become one of Hollywood's most bankable stars with over 200 credits and a net worth exceeding $250 million. His reputation for intensity stems from method acting techniques honed at Morehouse College and collaborations with visionaries like Tarantino, where his explosive monologues became legendary. Strahan, conversely, hails from a military family in Houston, Texas, born in 1971, and parlayed a stellar NFL career with the New York Giants, capped by a Super Bowl win and record-setting success into media stardom. Amassing Emmys and a spot in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, his transition to TV was seamless, driven by charisma and work ethic, but not without challenges, including a high-profile divorce that thrust him into tabloid scrutiny. Friends of Jackson describe him as fiercely protective of his narrative, especially regarding race and representation, which may explain his sensitivity to Strahan's probes. Strahan's inner circle portrays him as a peacemaker, often diffusing tensions with humor, yet unafraid to engage in tough talks from his sports analyst days. The clash highlighted their differing worlds, Jackson's film-centric cynicism versus Strahan's optimistic broadcasting lens. Post-incident, Jackson retreated to his Atlanta home, reportedly golfing to unwind, while Strahan continued his routine, including co-hosting duties and his clothing line promotions. Industry whispers suggest reconciliation efforts, perhaps through mutual friends like Oprah Winfrey, who knows both. The event spurred think pieces on toxic masculinity in media, with feminists noting how male egos clashed without resolution, and diversity advocates calling for better sensitivity training for hosts. Viewership analytics showed a 20% uptick in GMA's demographics, particularly among younger audiences drawn by the viral clips, but critics lambasted the show for not intervening sooner. Jackson's film saw a box office bump, proving publicity's double-edged sword, while Strahan's book sales surged as fans sought his side. Legal teams monitored for defamation claims, but none materialized, allowing focus on healing. Fan art and edits proliferated online, remixing the argument with movie scenes like Jackson's Jules from Pulp Fiction, adding levity. As this saga unfolded, it prompted reflections on live TV's unpredictability, with networks like NBC and CBS reviewing guest protocols. In wrapping this section, we see how personal histories fueled the fire, turning a simple interview into a spectacle that resonates on multiple levels, setting the stage for our final insights into legacy and lessons learned. In concluding this in-depth video script on Samuel L. Jackson's ejection from Good Morning America following his heated clash with Michael Strahan, it's clear this incident transcends a mere on-air spat, serving as a catalyst for broader conversations about media dynamics, celebrity accountability, and the fine line between entertainment and exploitation in today's hyper-connected world. Months after the event, both men have moved forward professionally, Jackson starring in acclaimed projects that garnered Oscar buzz, and Strahan expanding his empire with new ventures in production and philanthropy, including his work with youth programs. Reflections from media scholars emphasize how such moments humanize stars, reminding us they're not infallible, while also critiquing the pressure cooker environment of live broadcasts where one wrong word can ignite chaos. Lessons learned include enhanced pre-interview briefings and on-set de-escalation training, adopted by networks to prevent repeats. Public sentiment has softened, with many viewing it as a passionate exchange rather than malice, fostering empathy across divides. Jackson broke his silence in a magazine interview, admitting emotions ran high but expressing respect for Strahan's journey, hinting at a possible future collaboration. Strahan echoed this on GMA, sharing how the experience strengthened his resolve to foster inclusive dialogues. The viral legacy endures through compilations and analyses, influencing pop culture references in shows and music. Ultimately, this clash underscores the power of authenticity in an era of scripted realities, where standing one's ground can spark change, even if it means walking off a set. As we sign off, remember that behind the headlines are real people navigating fame's complexities, And this story reminds us to approach such narratives with nuance and understanding.